He is the Benintendi of arms in Ralph Lifshit's mind. I am speaking of Houston Astro, 21-year-old Francis Martes. Maybe you'll. I know you have his whole background, so maybe you'll adjust the pronunciation of his last name. He is Major League Baseball's 29th overall prospect. Number one. Let me clarify again. MajorLeagueBaseball.com's 29th overall prospect. Number one for Houston. Number 5 overall pitcher. He just turned 21, as I mentioned, in November. Another power arm who spent all of 2016 and all 22 of his starts in Double A. Go ahead. Oh,
sure.
I know you want to take this all away.
So the thing with Martes, the first thing I want to mention is let's throw a little dirt on the Marlins organization. They included this guy as a throw-in, as a third player, as a throw-in in a trade for Jared Kozart. Okay, so they lost him for Jared Kozart. They had no idea what they had. What he's turned out to be is one of the most high-octane pitching prospects in all of baseball. He had a great season this year at Double A, and it's even funnier because in the first month, he's one of these guys, a small righty, and I'm kind of, my calling card is I'm the guy that's not scared of small righties, and he's like the definitive small righty for me. I love him. I think he's nasty. Another guy with a big fastball, another guy with a big curveball. He's kind of like what you hope Espinosa will be in, a year or two's time. What people forgot was he was the youngest pitcher in Double A last season when he started the season. He was 20 years old the entire year. He started the year off very shaky. If you remove his starts in April and you just look from May 1st on until the end of the season, his numbers were 2.74 ERA, 117 WHIP. His K/9 was 9.5, and that was all supported by a 2.42 WHIP. And by the way, only had 3 homers in 118 innings, and that's one of the youngest pitchers in that level. Went to Arizona. They got rave reviews when he was in Arizona. His fastball works in the high 90s. Most of can touch triple digits, but most of the time it's somewhere between 96 to 98. He's got a 70 grade curveball. The change is still developing. He'll mix in a cutter a little bit as well. He's got good control. The command needs to work a little bit. What I mean by that, they are two different things. He throws strikes consistently, but sometimes the ball will rise on him a little bit in the zone. Overall, I'm a big Francis Martes fan. I think he's probably a year away from the majors. It wouldn't shock me if he made some starts potentially later on in 2017, but he's probably a 2018 ETA guy. And he's certainly the jewel of the Houston system, which is one of the deepest systems in all the minors.
You see the words he uses to describe players he likes? The jewel of the We have to set up a meet and greet with you and Francis Marte. Did you even figure out how to say it right? How many letters have you written?
I see several. If you consider my post over on Razzball to be love letters, he's gotten several. And then there's podcasts and everything else. I go on rants about Martes on a regular basis. I said Martes. That's what I've always heard. That's what I go with.
Maybe we can get him on to tell us how he prefers it being said at some point throughout the season as we kick into our weekly, talk show format. But I think I know the answer, but I still have to ask. Between he and Espinosa, you only got enough ammo to go after one of these guys in a trade. Do you have a preference? Are you happy with either? Or is it clearly one above the other?
I'm going to get killed. It's Martes. I mean, he's in Double A. He's a shot away at this point. If Espinosa has a very good year this year, and we're having this conversation a year from now, Martes maybe had a couple of starts in Houston that weren't great or whatever, pitches okay in AAA, but Espinosa's in Double A next year, and he looks like he's going to be in San Diego in a year's time. That might change. At this point, he had a very good year in Double A. He looks like a potential ace. Houston has needs in the rotation. I just think he's a great fit right now.
Well, and that's all fair, but that addresses, current more than it does long-term projection. So, side by side, over the next 5 years, who do you think we're talking about 5 years from now between these two guys? Are we talking about both? Are we talking about either? Are we talking about one or the other?
Yeah, I want to. I'm going to say both.
Okay.
I'm going to sit in the fence on this one and say both. And I just think it's because I am so cautious with low minors arms. I mean, I think the upside for Espinoza is definitely a tick higher than is with Martes. I think the floor is just higher with Martes because of where he is. But I think they're both guys that could potentially be, ace right-handed starters that, we're talking about for the next 5 years or, for many years to come. They're both top 10 pitching prospects in baseball, and they're that for a reason. And I think they're similar in the sense that they both have, sort of 70, 80 grade fastballs and 70 grade curveballs as well. So the stuff is similar too.